Adodomi Mission Station, which is in Adodomi. This is International Needs, Ghana. So finished up the scholar leader part of my time in Ghana. And this morning, connected again with Cromwell, who's a wonderful host, and spoke to the IN staff there in their offices in Accra, and then we came out here. So I am going to show you some of Ghana. I just keep arriving late. It's dark, and I had filmed other devotions that had outside stuff and Ghana stuff, but I couldn't get links that actually carried them through. So we'll fix all that technical stuff. My apologies, but I did want to say it's great to be here. Before I start to shift in my own thinking about Ghana and shifting international needs, I just want to mention that we left. I was staying outside of Accra for the Scholar Leader meeting, and right outside the hotel, little compound where we were staying, was a long hill, like probably 2 or 3 miles long. I started to run down it and realized I will never make it back up this hill, and it looks out over the valley. So I share that, and I share the John passage that I read, because when the missionaries first came to Ghana several hundred years ago, they were down in the valley. So where I was running to, if I had run another 2.5 miles down this hill, but they didn't last long. Malaria took their life. It was a graveyard for missionaries, and so it was after months and months and many deaths that they eventually moved up the hill to where I was. So there's a lot of Presbyterian missionaries. Different parts of Ghana have different strengths of churches. We were the Assemblies of God, but the Presbyterians and the Methodists were really big, and it just depended upon who sort of started an area. And there was cooperation, but the part of Ghana, the part of Accra that I was in, it was the Presbyterians who had initially come, but it was they didn't last long. And there was a season in missions in which that was the case. There was a season, they called them one-way missionaries, and they would actually pack their belongings to go to the mission field. This was Sudan Interior Mission, sort of started this way, SIM. Many of them would end up packing their belongings to go to the mission field in a coffin, because they weren't lasting much more than 6 or 7 months before they got malaria and died. So why would you do this? Well, it reflects on the idea that we are going to live after we die. And so Christianity doesn't make any sense if we come at it from the idea that what we see is all we get. When Jesus gives the Sermon on the Mount and says, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who hunger and thirst now, blessed are those who weep now. He doesn't stop there. He says, blessed are you when you have difficult times, because you are trying to live out my heart and my kingdom. Great is your reward in heaven. So Christianity only makes sense in light of another life. Jesus's call to us was framed in light of eternity. And there's a graveyard in Ghana, and it's full of the early missionaries, and it's called the John 12:24. It's got a passage from John 12:24. Unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it cannot become 100-fold. And so the church in Ghana is significant. It's got challenges for sure, but 75% of the Ghanaians are Christ followers. Another 18 to 20%, I've heard both numbers, are Muslims. Christian and Muslim relations here are actually quite good. They cooperate, in a variety of ways. We have things to learn, but there is this passion. I just don't want it to go unmarked. There was a cemetery in which missionaries who packed their belongings in coffins because they were living today in light of eternity, and they wanted to get the good news out to other people. May that sobering thought guide and direct you today. Have a good day.